What's up everyone, Steven here with Techmaker Studio. This is building a decentralized Twitter clone with react.js and aleph.im, part 16. If you've been following along with the series live, I apologize for the gap in episodes here. We had some stuff going on. I actually got really sick. We've been traveling, a few other things, so we kind of been out for a couple of weeks, but we're kicking things back up today, and we should be wrapping this series up in the next few weeks. With all of that said, let's go ahead and just jump in. So what I want to get done in this episode is start setting up our actual data model. So far, we're just relying on the, where is this, in posts here? Let me go view word wrap here. So right now you can see we're pulling from this chat channel with this ref hall. So what we're gonna want to do is migrate to something more specific to our app. This is just a demo chat that Aleph included in one of their demo apps. So we want to actually come up with our own data structure that we're going to use. That being said, one thing that should be kept in mind is that everything that we're going to do right now is a first pass, and there's a high likelihood that this changes. So we're going to kind of just start by roughing in my first idea, and we will go from there and figure out what all we need to change. So one thing I want to do, so essentially we have two places where this is really going to change. One is in the post we were just looking at, and the other is where we actually submit a post here. And you can see that we're passing in a type of chat, and then we have this reference of hall. And what we're going to do is actually use the reference whenever we have comments on a post or comments on a comment. So I'm just going to go ahead and take away the ref for now. The channel, let's just call this like Techmaker. What do we want to call this? We'll just call this Techmaker test for now. It doesn't matter. We're going to change this to something more realistic later. And then what we'll do here is change this to be techmaker.posts. So the way that I tend to think about this, and this isn't exactly right, it's just sort of how I model this in my head right now. I kind of think about the channel as like the database. We're specifying like where these live, and then the table would be like this, which is the type. Now that's not really right, and we'll see why later. But anyway, if you're kind of coming from a different world of Web 2 where you have a database or something like that, that might be useful to think about it that way. I've spent a lot of time playing with Aleph, but I still don't have a full grip on exactly how every single detail works, so we'll talk more through that as we go. For now, I just want to get this working. I don't think there's anything else in this file we need to worry about. And then over here, what we're going to do is just change this to be get post Techmaker posts. And then we don't want a ref here. So one thing I'm curious about, because something in my, and there's going to be a fair amount of this sort of stop and go here as we explore this system. But if we go to the aleph.im developers documentation and we look at posts, I'm not sure we can actually query based on the channel. So we have get posts, and we just pass in post types as like the required option, and then you can pass in all these options, and I don't see channel here. So I guess what you could do, and again I'm just kind of talking through this because I'm thinking down the road a little bit. I guess what you could do if you wanted to filter things out, right? Like if we were using this Techmaker post thing, anybody can post here, and anybody can post to that channel too, as far as I understand. So really anybody could do anything or a lot of things. I guess you could potentially filter things out if the channel doesn't match on your side, but I'm not even sure that makes sense. So let's scratch that discussion for now. For now, we just want to get rid of this reference here. And maybe I didn't explain this quite right earlier, but if you think about like traditional data modeling, if you have like a post and then you have a comment, the comment will have a foreign key that points back at the post. So that's what we're going to use the ref for. The ref is going to have it's going to be a different kind of thing here. It'll be techmaker.comments or something, and it'll have a ref which will point back to like a post hash so we can look it up. We should get to that in the next 2 or 3 episodes. For now, let's switch to this, and then let's also switch to Techmaker post down here in the WebSockets. And I'm not sure that's gonna like the dot in the URL. We're gonna find out. Okay, so now we don't have anything, and that makes sense because we just kind of made this up. So if we click post something and we say testing this, testing techmaker.posts, okay? If we click this, we sign in our wallet, we'll see our fancy UX we've been working on. We may not get this back, or did I need to, where do we pick up that event? Load posts, connection. Oh, we needed to change that here. So we'll say techmaker.posts. So we'll save that. We'll refresh. Let's see if we get anything. No, we don't. Let's open up the Explorer and see if anything came across. I'm gonna need to, you know what I'm gonna do to make this a little bit easier? I'm gonna make this full screen width, and then I'm gonna make this full width. Okay, so let me make sure I saved everything here. I may have not saved that file. That can also do the trick. So if we look at this, we actually have a type of chat, which makes me think I must have not saved. So let's do a refresh over here. And let me make sure I've got Techmaker post that's saved. Techmaker.post. If this doesn't like the period for some reason, we'll switch to like an underscore or a dash. But I like the look of the period personally, so we'll say testing from testing techmaker.post number 2 here. Post, sign the thing in the wallet. Let's check on the Explorer, see if anything came across. Okay, so we have techmaker.post here. It looks like it's not showing up from the socket, but it does show up there. Let's come back over here and content.type. Let's switch this to a dash. I'm just not convinced that we're not getting some problem in the URL there. All right, save that, and then we'll switch to a dash over here. And I don't think there's anything else. So now it's going to go away because we changed the channel that we're listening to, or the type that we're listening to. So we'll say testing techmaker dash post number 1 post sign. I'm going to open up my JavaScript console. Invalid DOM property class. I don't think that would have caused us any issues. So now we have Techmaker dash post coming across, so that's nice. Let me fix this class thing here. If I do a global search for class equals, that would be our loading thing. Okay, so that should go away now. So there's testing number 1, testing techmaker posts number 2. And now it's working. So maybe that React error was causing us that problem. I'm not sure. It's totally possible, I guess. Okay, so we've swapped out our data type that we're using here that we're listening to everywhere, and all of that is working. Overall, this is a really minor change, and this has been a really quick episode. I think I'm going to cut here, though, because what we're going to do next, maybe we can talk a little bit about what we need to do over the next few episodes. So the next thing I need to do is set up the React router, because what we want to happen is when we click on a post, we want to go to a URL that's like /post/hash something, and then render this post, and then add a form below where people can leave comments. And in fact, so we'll do that next, and then we'll see if we can figure out how to do, you leave a comment, and then you can comment on a comment, and then you can view the whole thread, and so on and so forth. So that will really be probably the next few episodes, is just getting all of that working. Once we have that working, we'll get these profile pictures hooked up the way that we want, and usernames and so on. And at that point, we have something like kind of like a prototype idea of like a decentralized Twitter, but we won't really have very much functionality. It'll be hard to use, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to have to get into creating Aleph virtual machines. And the reason for that is because there's a lot of stuff where we don't want, basically what we have right now, what we have right now is just a front-end React app, right? And we're talking directly to this database. What we're going to want to do is basically have, because this is not the fastest thing in the world to do. So what we're going to want to do is basically do some caching in a database that's like a local database stored inside of a virtual machine. And potentially create some kind of indexing service that we can use where we can have like search and so on. We'll probably use like Elasticsearch or something like that. So yeah, it's going to get kind of complicated pretty quickly. I think we probably have a week and a half before it gets super complicated, but that's coming soon, and I'm still trying to work out the details. And I'm actually talking to the Aleph team, trying to make sure I'm not doing something crazy. So that's pretty much it. We'll pick up in the next episode, and this is going to pick up a lot in terms of pace, and it's going to pick up in difficulty as well pretty soon. But anyway, we'll get through it, and hopefully we end up with something pretty cool at the end. So all of that said, I'll talk to you in the next episode.